Melania Trump, born Melania Knavs, Germanized to Melania Knauss, born April 26, 1970, is a Slovenian-American former fashion model and, as wife of the 45th U.S. President Donald Trump, the current First Lady of the United States. Melania Knavs was born in Novo Mesto, and grew up in Sevnica, in the Yugoslav Republic of Slovenia. She worked as a fashion model through agencies in Milan and Paris, later moving to New York City in 1996. Her modeling career was associated with Irene models and Trump model management. In 2001, Knavs became a permanent resident of the United States. She married Donald Trump in 2005 and obtained U.S. citizenship in 2006. She is the second American First Lady born outside the U.S. and the first naturalized U.S. citizen to become First Lady. She is the second Catholic First Lady, after Jacqueline Kennedy. Early life. Melania Knavs was born in Novo Mesto, Slovenia, then part of Yugoslavia, on April 26, 1970. Her father, Victor Knavs, was from the nearby town of Rades, and managed car and motorcycle dealerships for a socially owned vehicle manufacturer. Her mother Melanija Knauss came from the village of Raka and worked as a pattern maker at the children's clothing manufacturer Jutronka in Sevnica. As a child, Melania and other children of workers at the factory participated in fashion shows that featured children's clothing. She has an older sister, Ines, who is an artist and her longtime confidant, and an older half-brother, whom she reportedly has never met, from her father's previous relationship. Knavs grew up in a modest apartment in a housing block in Sevnica, in the lower Sava Valley. Her father was in the League of Communists of Slovenia, which espoused a policy of state atheism. As was common, however, he had his daughters secretly baptized as Catholics. When the Trumps met Pope Francis at the Vatican in 2017, Melania brought her rosary and asked the Pope to bless it. When Knavs was a teenager, she moved with her family to a two-story house in Sevnica. As a high school student, she lived in a high-rise apartment in Ljubljana. She attended the Secondary School of Design and Photography in Ljubljana, and studied architecture and design at the University of Ljubljana for 1 year before she dropped out. Modeling. QVC Red Carpet Style Party, 2011. She began modeling at 5 years old and started doing commercial work at 16, when she posed for the Slovenian fashion photographer Stane Jerko. When she began working as a model, she transcribed the Slovene version of her last name Knavs to the German version Knauss. At 18, she signed with a modeling agency in Milan, Italy. In 1992, she was named runner-up in the Jana magazine Look of the Year contest, held in Ljubljana, which promised its top 3 contestants an international modeling contract. After attending the University of Ljubljana for 1 year, she modeled for fashion houses in Paris and Milan, where in 1995 she met Metropolitan Models co-owner Paolo Zampoli, a friend of her future husband Donald Trump, who was on a scouting trip in Europe. Zampoli urged her to travel to the United States, where he said he would like to represent her. In 1996, she moved to Manhattan. Zampoli arranged for her to share an apartment with photographer Matthew Atanian in Zeckendorf Towers in Union Square. She did 10 paid modeling jobs in the U.S. in the 7 weeks before she received legal permission to work in the country. Business. In 2010 Trump launched her own line of jewelry, Melania Timepieces and Jewelry, for sale on QVC. She also marketed a Melania skincare collection, sold in high-end department stores. According to a financial filing in 2016, her businesses brought in between $15,000 and $50,000 that year. In 2017, the 2 companies that manufactured her jewelry and skincare products under license said they had terminated their relationship with her. On Inauguration Day her companies and products were listed in her official White House biography, but they were quickly removed. A White House spokesperson said her companies are no longer active and the First Lady has no intention of using her position for profit and will not do so. Early relationship. Bill Clinton, 2000. In September 1998, she met real estate mogul Donald Trump at a party that Zampoli hosted at the Times Square nightclub the Kit Kat Club, now the Stephen Sondheim Theater. Trump and Marla Maples had been separated since May 1997, and he attended the party with Selena Medelfart. When Medelfart went off to use the restroom, Trump approached Knauss and asked for her telephone number. She took his phone number instead, and they subsequently began a relationship and frequented the 1990s Greenwich Village hotspot Mumba. Melania continued her modeling career with her American magazine cover shoots, including In Style Weddings, New York Magazine, Avenue, Philadelphia Style, Vanity Fair, and Vogue. While they were dating, her family relocated to New York, where they now live for most of the year. In 1999, the couple gained attention after an interview on The Howard Stern Show. When she was asked by the New York Times what her role would be if Donald Trump were to become president, she replied, "I would be very traditional, like Betty Ford or Jackie Kennedy." In 2000, she appeared with Donald Trump while he campaigned for that year's Reform Party presidential nomination. She also modeled for the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Marriage. Oscar de la Renta fashion show, 2006. Knauss and Donald Trump became engaged in 2004. On January 22, 2005, they married in an Anglican service at the Episcopal Church of Bethesda by the Sea in Palm Beach, Florida, followed by a reception in the ballroom at her husband's Mar-a-Lago estate. The marriage was her first and his third. The event was attended by celebrities such as Katie Couric, Matt Lauer, Rudy Giuliani, Heidi Klum, Star Jones, P. Diddy, Shaquille O'Neal, Barbara Walters, Conrad Black, Regis Philbin, Simon Cowell, Kelly Ripa, then Senator Hillary Clinton, and former President Bill Clinton. At the reception, Billy Joel serenaded the crowd with "Just the Way You Are" and supplied new lyrics to the tune of "The Lady Is a Tramp." The Trump's wedding ceremony and reception were widely covered by the media. She wore a $200,000 dress made by John Galliano of the House of Christian Dior. On March 20, 2006, she gave birth to their son, Baron William Trump. She suggested his middle name, while her husband suggested his first name. 2016 presidential campaign. Thumbs up at a campaign event with her husband Donald and son Baron, November 2015. In November 2015, she was asked about her husband's presidential campaign and replied, "I encouraged him because I know what he will do and what he can do for America. He loves the American people and he wants to help them." She played a relatively small role in her husband's campaign, which is atypical of spouses of presidential candidates. In 2016, she told CNN her focus as First Lady would be to help women and children. She also said she would combat cyberbullying, especially among children. In July 2016, her official website was redirected to Trump.com. On Twitter, she stated that her site was outdated and did not accurately reflect current business and professional interests. 2016 RNC and plagiarism concerns. On July 18, 2016, she gave a speech at the 2016 Republican National Convention. The speech contained a paragraph that was nearly identical to a paragraph of Michelle Obama's speech at the 2008 Democratic National Convention. When asked about the speech, Trump said she wrote the speech herself with as little help as possible. 2 days later, Trump staff writer Meredith McIver took responsibility and apologized for the confusion. Lawsuit against Daily Mail and General Trust. In February 2017, she sued Daily Mail and General Trust, the owner of the Daily Mail, seeking $150 million in damages over an August 2016 article that falsely alleged that she had worked for an escort service during her modeling days. The Mail retracted the article, apologized, and printed the retraction from the blogger they were quoting, who said, "I had no legitimate factual basis to make these false statements and I fully retract them." The lawsuit stated the article had ruined her unique, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to establish multi-million-dollar business relationships for a multi-year term during which plaintiff is one of the most photographed women in the world. Her claim raised potential ethical questions with its implication that she intended to profit from being First Lady. On February 18, the lawsuit was amended, removing the language about her earning potential and focusing instead on emotional distress. In April 2017, the party settled the lawsuit and the Daily Mail issued a statement that said, "We accept that these allegations about Mrs. Trump are not true and we retract and withdraw them." The Mail agreed to pay her $2.9 million. Statement on bullying. 5 days before the election, she told a crowd of supporters in Pennsylvania, "Our culture has gotten too mean and too rough, especially to children and teenagers. It is never okay when a 12-year-old girl or boy is mocked, bullied, or attacked. It is terrible when that happens on the playground. And it is absolutely unacceptable when it is done by someone with no name hiding on the internet." Regarding the contrast of her platform with her husband's use of Twitter during his campaign, Melania said shortly after the election that she had rebuked him all the time but that he will do what he wants to do in the end. First Lady of the United States. She assumed the role of First Lady of the United States on January 20, 2017. She continued living in Manhattan at the Trump Tower with her son, Baron, until the end of his 2016 to 2017 school year at Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School. They moved into the White House in Washington, D.C., on June 11, 2017. Her Secret Service code name is Muse, beginning with the same letter as Trump's code name,